October 5th, 2024, a president 2024.com, Donald J. Trump by Marcus Giavanni, GP7A. Donald Trump is the 47th president of the United States of America. And when you understand from 2016 all the way till August 5th, everybody was indexed. Because when you talk about saving democracy and other people's lives are at stake, AI holds you accountable. If you don't have an approval rating of at least a C, I mean, I'll put it in that kind of perspective. Not a D, not an F, a D. But if you got an F, like you're 23% below other political leaders that aren't even running, if there's citizens doing whatever a politician promises or whatever, it's just an amazing time. And I have been warning and sending emails to all different people because that's what you can do. And when you understand that NBC election 2024, there, Harris just won one of the five. They just couldn't wait to come out of the closet. They're done. CNN, CNBC, all these people that came out, all the celebrities, everything that they did is now under the supervised Gen AI. So if when Oprah Winfrey came out and she said all that stuff, it's pattern matched to reality, not what they think they're going to be able to bullshit and give away a couple cars. Or when Beyonce came out, Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift's on Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers owns CNN. It's colluding at the worst. And this is how our adversaries have seen us up until today. And now they know. Now everybody's worried. Now the pollsters got it wrong. The experts got it wrong. Everybody got it wrong. And then they go, as time goes on, somebody reads somebody else's sources or they get an email and then they start saying the words of somebody that sent them an email to try to take credit like they know something. Those days are over. So the voters spoke. The voters and the elephants were on a rampage and they crushed the Democrats, they crushed the experts, they crushed the media, and they crushed the pollsters at the polls. And when you understand how to, finding your polling place, that was big trending. Because when Trump came out and President Trump came out and said, stay in line, because he knew. They were telling them people were getting their shorts in a bunch because they had to wait 2-3 hours. And Trump had to send the message, stand in line, man. It's better standing in line than sitting in a foxhole. Because now everything's going to change, folks. Everything. And January 1, 2025, a data dump. The data dump into two paths, like on the Stairway to Heaven, Led Zeppelin lyrics were there are two paths we can go now. One is IoT and the other is dark web. Neither one's right or wrong. It just depends on your emotions and habits that the end users or identifiers use when they go on the internet. And that all of our internets we access the internet through our providers. Those access points know everything that you're doing, coming and going. And if you're on a list, they know everything. Everything comes through there, goes to Homeland Security, as it should. So you either got to be with the government or not. But this government was dangerous. And the more and more they brought out, the more and more they lied, the more they called Hitler, or called Trump Hitler. When it took the voters to get Hitler to be where he was. And Obama right now, they're all trying to figure out what to do next. And so why all the players, all the hosts, all of them, all the news agencies that had these pollsters on talking about the stuff, talking about, when you look at the way the country didn't like where we were going, the percentage of the country didn't like our economy, the whole thing. It didn't match the poll numbers. That's how you get them. And then you do what we do a little bit of whoop-de-woo, and we can get to some pretty serious conversations in the open metaverse because everybody's voices are the new latent print that Gen AI uses along with law enforcement to monitor wherever you go through GPS and cell phone tower pings. And then that content can be triangulated to extract cloud content that's available in the public. Because you don't see it doesn't mean it ain't there. It doesn't mean it's not there. And so this is what the new digital DNA is. And when you talk about people that are talking about, AI and robots, and they're all using generalizations, just confusing the out of everybody, those days are over. CNN, Miss and Marcus, GP7A, those are tags, folks. Ask your people what those mean, even if you see if you even get that. My Google dashboard is different than everybody's, even though that everybody's can have the same dashboard. You just got to be on it. On it. So here's when I was on 1100 KFNX, Marcus Giavanni show, during 2016, that's when the indexing started. And because I was on a public broadcast network, I knew my content was being digitized. And what happens is everybody that came out of the closet in 2016 and all the things that happened with the FBI and Hillary Clinton and all these people that came out and tried to gaslight all the citizens of Denver on who they should vote for, telling people how they should think, telling black men, like Obama thinks that he still has this power, and people don't listen to him, just like they don't listen to Mayor Webb in Denver. Because the voters, especially the young Gen Zs, they weren't going to have, their parents weren't going to have Kamala go to war, even though we need to be our eyes wide open, folks. Because when you have that kind of rhetoric from people like Nancy Pelosi, they're going to start that, oh, here he goes, he's going to do. They need to remove these people from office. They are not indexed well, folks, and the election spoke. And there's nothing any of their consultants, their pollsters, their experts, all their bullshit people can't do a fucking thing about it anymore. And that's AI, because it's AI's responsibility to keep the conversation flow in the IoT true and correct knowledge-based trust content. And so a lot of these people now, what happens now, we're talking about every host, all their voices that they went and broadcast on everybody's phone. That's what happens. So when you're having a conversation, people go, God, I was just talking about a movie. Wow, when you're just now figuring that out, at least you figured it out, but you still haven't figured it out because you're still asking questions because you can't believe that you were talking about a movie or an event, and the next day you were getting ads for it. So when you go on DuckDuckGo and you try to hide your identity or your IP, it signals the front door, the entrance, the gatekeepers that you're going to go to, that you're headed to, if you're on this list, that you're headed to a secure place. Like if you do it on your internet, it doesn't matter. The gatekeepers of the flow of your content starts with your providers. And it's their job. And what's weird is that the way the government employees and that they're going to have to fire all those people. They're going to have to change the name of the FBI call it the Donald J. Trump. Because everything that they've done since 2016, both elections, because the first one is the beta model. The second one is the testing of the beta model. And this election was strike three to put everything into perspective the way it needed to go. So when people talk about the billions of dollars that they spent, there were opportunities to extract digitally the nano flow of that cash into other people's content so that it shows up when they don't even have followers. They don't have nothing. They have readers. They have their work is impressionable. It's there so that those people that don't click. So all the money that the Democrats pumped in there, Donald Trump was able to unknowingly, because I know they don't know this, because if they did, they wouldn't have named Truth Social, but that's another story. You can look up Social Truth by Marcus Giovanni, and my radio show was the Marcus Giovanni show, The Adult Conversation in Truth. And I had that before he ran for president. Knowing all of this, we were able to build layers and layers of information and multiple large language models on various topics spoken by various people, so that when the aftermath of the elections are over and people start asking those questions, when CNBC and all those identifiers and all of them, and all the people on CNN that's being paid by Warner Brothers, whose all their stars came out. If you have shares in Warner Brothers, you guys might want to reconsider. And there's one, I've been telling these people this for a long time. I mean, I predicted the whole, like the Para stock, Paramount. It should be $80 a share right now. They got the wrong people operating everything, and they all sit there and play cards together, and then it's got shook up because AI shook it up. Everything they try to do to try to stop it, when they go, yeah, well, we're gonna limit AI. Then once you start limiting AI, you're just like China, and it'll still get through. It'll allow you to do whatever it is you're going to do, but what happens is what AI is going to do, and this is what most military people are scared of, is the system turning against itself, to where they point those bombs and everything in AI because it's all connected through the grid, folks. That's why they call it a World Wide Web. It is all connected, and everything's activated by the voice, all your meta tags that make up your meta descriptions. And if you're reading people's content, like Mayor Mike Johnson here in Denver, coming up with, we're having the first Den AI Summit, and they taking little words and trying to linguistic twist the titles, and he doesn't understand that what we do is we prepared for that for years, since 2006. It took, Michael Hancock ignored it. We were going to do a debate. I came in second in the elections, but all the other three, I had to be a write-in candidate, and I was a write-in candidate so that I could still be part of the conversation. See, there's a method to the election madness when you figure it all out. And right now, money can't buy you democracy. Remember that. That's what this whole thing's about. And all the people that paid and all their emails and all their text messages, I don't see it, but you can get a subpoena to see it. So a lot of these IT people, 3% of the IT world knows what I'm talking about. But there's only 1% out of that 3% that knows how to do what I do. And I learned my shit from Google. I learned my stuff from YouTube. And YouTube, whoa. A lot of algorithms, and I figured it out. But I had to. So I believe that any platform that doesn't want you on the platform has every right to kick you out of their house. But you got to know the structure of being kicked out. In order to be kicked out, you have to do something to be kicked out, so that you can take those movements that are seen on the back end by AI, and then because of the content you wrote, you can pretty much figure out what happened, And then this way, now you can show other people what not to do. They don't take what, like the terms and conditions of each of the platforms. There's so much information, and if you're ADHD, it's really hard to even remember half that stuff. So that's why coaching for YouTube, I always thought that YouTube needs to, instead of destroying people and their content, which doesn't really match their terms and conditions, because they're destroying people that have problems legitimately, that just don't understand even when they read the rules, because they're just wrong. And so what YouTube should do, and I don't tell YouTube what to do, they don't listen to me, but to come up with a premium to where, okay, man, what we're gonna have to do is have to put somebody on to monitor your content, and in order to do that, we got to charge $65 a month. But for that $65 a month, you'll have a YouTube influencer or a YouTube teacher that you have to go and take his classes, so we can learn. And the only way to do that is to take content that I've learned and use it as tools to teach people of what not to do. And pretty soon they'll get it. YouTube, you can't get anywhere with free, folks. That's why they just boot you. But if they really care about the community, and maybe someone did something wrong, and they're all about diversity and inclusion and reclusion or whatever. But to close someone down, when you know what, we're gonna redeem people. We're gonna give them a chance. They got to go through these classes, and they use the video so that people see and go, oh, okay, so that's not what I do. Okay, I get it. All right. And now you have a perfect community that's not there to destroy people that make a mistake on YouTube or on Google or any platform. But I only do Google. YouTube is just something I'm learning. I'm not a YouTuber. I'm not any of that. Our platforms are designed to be taken over by the way that new things are, because it's digital assets, and there's no hard cost in digital assets. And so now investors can come in and buy platforms that have 5-10 years. They don't have no money behind them. They got equity as far as data. They have payment of the domain, the length of how old the domain is, content. Like you gotta always add content to your especially YouTube, because they'll turn off all your stuff, because I don't know how that protects the YouTube, and I try to find information how that would protect somebody, but it's their house. If you go to a hotel, you gotta abide by their rules. It's just trying to learn the rules that's beyond what's listed on a piece of paper or in the terms, because there's things that change in the front end that the back end hasn't even caught up to. That those PDF files or those infomercials aren't on the internet yet. So this is a big way of being able to create another revenue stream off of a situation that is bad for some people, that they lost their channels. But again, this is the one. If it was me, I would offer classes. You have to pay a monthly fee so that you'll always have to be on top of your channel. More strict. So if you got a Google specialist or a YouTube specialist, sorry, that's a different specialist. I'm a specialist for Google, third party. YouTube's a different animal. And our whole thing was to analyze different things that happen so that we can create structured content that we can show other people that have maybe learning disabilities, or they think they don't have time to read the terms and conditions, or people that are reading the terms and conditions, but it's so overwhelming that you can't. But only the smart survive. But eventually you run out of smart people, and then there's just not enough other people on it. And the metaverse is what we create off of our apparatuses, our cell phones. All of our voices are now picked up in the secret microphones that are in McDonald's. If you go into a drive-through McDonald's here in Denver, they have a sign that talks about their audio and video recordings of the premises for the safety of the patrons. That, my friend, also gets probably indexed up to Homeland Security. Homeland Security is going to change. Donald Trump's going to change a lot of things, and they need to. But this is where the story ends, folks. Instagram, these National Archives, missing Marcus Giovanni. So you'd have to, if a judge was looking at that, go, why would Marcus Giovanni, GP7A, be in the Trump White House archives? I'm not going to tell you, because that's some trade secrets. But it's badass. And I've been trying to open the eyes of Denver citizens, mayor, all the way to Hickenlooper when he was governor, when he started Blockchain Technology Council. I already had the Google Blockchain Technology Council. And so they try to circumvent words, and then once they get they get their media to go tell their story, it drops off. Because you can go and look at a car race, pick your favorite driver and go, God, I want to be just like him. Hey, can we do this? Yeah, we will. And start building your team and build all your car and everything, and don't even get into a race. But you've built up a facade of content that you read to make it look like and appear that you're a race car driver, and you've never even sat in a car. That kind of what happened to Kevin Hart. That guy's like 5'2", driving a muscle car, 1970 muscle car. You got to be at least 5'8" to 6'3". The bigger you are, the higher you are to the headroom, the more you could see the road. And the second thing, so he was too small. That's why he crashed. And his crash was just, he's lucky he walked away. Lucky. But because he was small is why he survived that wreck. But secondly, you don't take a muscle car and try to slalom in Mulholland Drive. I've raced, unfortunately, the crime, I like to go fast, folks, but I didn't ever do it in a situation where there were people. Okay? No people, evidently. And I drive cool and I get hit by other people. So, it's just, it's another thing to analyze. But the guitar player for Quiet Riot, Cavazo, I think, he had a Lamborghini, and I had a 924 Porsche. I had a 77 Corvette. And that, you can slalom, but it's still a little dangerous, but you can do a few things that you can do other than on other muscle cars. Especially, my dad had a 68 Barracuda, and I remember I wanted to drive that car, and when I was like 4'11" in 8th grade. I thought I was a midget. I was like, wow, all my friends are growing, and I'm still. Anyway, so and I'd sit in my dad's car, and I'd be like, Dad, can I drive this? He's like, son, you gotta put some inches on you. You can't even see over the dashboard. That's instant car accident. And that's why you see a lot of people who's short and they sit way below. They don't see what's in front of them. They don't see how close they are to people's car. They can't see the road. They only could see, Anyways, so that's what happened to Kevin Hart. And thank God that he didn't kill himself. But, someone should have told him that sold him that car, especially in California. This is how you know people don't care. Dude, whatever you do, don't go slaloming down Mulholland Drive, because you will kill yourself. And I raced some pretty, Yngwie Malmsteen, he had a green TR8, had a V8 in it. And we were at his house at Topanga Canyon, and near Topanga Canyon. And he had it in his garage, and he had a party, yada, yada, yada. Anyways, and I parked my Corvette in his street and in his driveway, and that was a kind of a hoot. But I stood up for myself. and Ingve wasn't used to that. And I weighed 200 pounds, folks. So I muscle. You know how it goes. And I learned all about Ingve Malmsteen. He told me his whole life. And when I saw the picture of his dad uh, on these on his soundboard council, I knew he was a good guy because he had a picture of his dad. His dad passed away, and he had a picture of his dad right there. And that's when I loved Ingve Malmsteen, just because that told me everything I needed to know about that guy and why he did the things he did, why he took the chances that he did. He did some crazy things, folks. He wrapped his Jaguar. I knew when we raced, I didn't want to race, but he called me out, and I had to race him. And there was nobody around. There were people, there were streets blocked, but it's a situation. But he probably don't even remember any of this. But evidently, when he knows, it happened. But that's what happened to Hart. Anyway, so that's what's happening to this election. CBS, ABC, all the View, and all the hateful rhetoric that came out of their mouths, and all their brainwashing, linguistic twisting, they're all been indexed. And now it's the second phase of this election index, the day after and every day preceding. Like CNN, what are they going to say? Are they going to start dogging on it? And what happens is they lose the people that are watching. They don't grow their markets. It's the same people, and they just regurgitate all that hate. And if Fox News didn't tell everybody about that, they wouldn't need to know that. No, they don't need to do that because nobody's watching that shit anyways. But when Fox News is pulling all the other news people, and they're like and they had to pay almost $1 billion in fines. What are you talking about? You see, none of that makes sense. So when Fox News says, hey, they're America's most trusted, yeah, to the people that watch them, there's more people that don't, and that's the ticket. It's not how many people watch you, it's about how many people don't. That even goes for me and the music I write. I don't write music for a million people. I wrote the music so that I could hear it. You know what I mean? I don't like my voice in some of the songs, but that's just what we do. And but that's Durango Dank, by the way. And Vitruvian Man. We have a bunch of other stuff, but folks, I called the election a long time ago, and in 2000, I got this website in 2020, right here, because of algorithms and what AI told me I needed to do to protect the digital democracy and the credibility of our election systems. So when the media sits there and they try to, this next thing with all the identifiers, all of the 5013Cs, they're about to get slammed by federal agents, man. Okay? So if you're in Colorado and Denver and you have a 5013C and all of your social channels match all the people, your followers and all your investors are all coming from partisan, where you're just getting this free money and it's all from a partisanship, you're more partisanship than nonpartisan. And then when nonpartisan people try to connect up to you, you ignore them. That's AI. And it's that AI that Donald Trump now has the power. And so all these guys that are coming out saying, oh yeah, it'll be the end of the elections. Oprah Winfrey's the one that's going to take the biggest hit. Because all the black people told Oprah Winfrey what they thought of her. Okay. Those people that want the free cars and all that, that's their voter base, have-nots. And they thought they could scare the have-nots, but there wasn't enough have-nots to the people that have and want to keep what they have and not give it up to J-Lo or any of these, John Luigiano or whatever his name is. Good actor though, I gotta admit, but short man syndrome, you name it, man. And he thought he had enough authority to manipulate the Latinos, and they showed him that he don't matter. Just like when Mayor Webb tried to come out and endorse the first mayor first female mayor, insulting all the women, thinking he's just Mr. Ding Dang, and he's not. And they lost. Just like they thought they were going to have the first woman mayor or first woman president. It's all in their fucking heads. And the other voters who saw the truth just like, and folks, this election was about credibility. Our adversaries are shitting their pants right now because they're and the Gen Zs, you know, whoever names Gen Z, it's not the end. Gen Zs woke up. And if they don't, and every election after this, they're going to start voting with their minds. They're going to start saying, "Damn, if I don't have any money, but I can vote these people out that are lying and everything, they can pattern match these people their own selves." That's why you got to know Google. I don't know DuckDuckGo. I don't know Bing. But you Google search, do hashtag City and County of Denver, folks. Hashtag City and County of Denver. At City and County of Denver. Do the handle. We built some very powerful platforms a long time ago. We started our conversation in 2006 with Denver AI. I owned AIDenverMayor.com. And because we knew what kind of mayor Mike Johnston was going to be like. And he's just like Michael Hancock, but worse. He's used all of our assets to put the homeless in. They got to raise all of our taxes and to help the kids and all this other shit when it's being diverted to pay for all their sanctuary city shit. And now the sanctuary cities are about to implode. And this is because when people say the Republicans they realized that they figured it out. It took them 2024 to finally figure it out that if they come out early and they keep strong all the way through and stand in line, they win. Because now they represent the blue collar people. And all the rich people and all that shit that come out of those people's mouths, all that spewing shit that came out of all their mouths. Michelle Obama, all of them. America just told all of them people to kiss their elephant asses, independent asses, even some donkey asses that knew based off common sense, knew based off Gen AI and the large language models and the layers and 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 layers of information and voices and MP3 files and MP4 files and GPS files and cell phone tower files. And you could do some algorithms to find that content of that group of identifiers and what they're talking about and see if their images or any type of connections in their social channels start showing up. It's bitching, folks. And I could have taught this to Denver in 2006, folks. But I'm not as good as I was I'm good. I'm better than when I was in 2006, obviously. There it is. And for those that might argue, oh, well, who's going to search that? It's not about searching that. It's about building a large language model with all the content of other people asking the same common sense questions that allows the billions of dollars that the Democrats spit. Billions, folks. They sucked it out of America. The media got it. The experts got it. The pollsters got it. And guess who got it? President Trump and the voters. And the Gen Z's parents, they don't even realize all those stars that came out, Carly B, all of them. The voters. And the thing is, if you're following these people that AI knows we're disingenuous and using false claims, giving false information, being hackers of content, they're going to the dark web. I mean, think about it. And so that's where we are now. In 2025 in January, there's going to be some people in the media, they're going to wake up and they're not going to be able to get into their content. They're going to have to start all over because they've been blocked off Google. Their IP address, even if they get another computer and they try to
to figure it out. All that juice is in the walls, man. They're stored somewhere in the electrical wiring system, waiting for the computer to be plugged back in, so that that ID can get spoofed back onto the new computer. And if you're a new computer owner, your registration is going to be that. And if it's all fake, it knows. When you start putting in a fake address and all that, it knows all this. So you'll be indexed accordingly. And that's why everybody has to act accordingly. Because what's coming, when they said Donald Trump's going to change, he's going to change everything, folks. He's got 4 years to do it, because he doesn't got nothing to lose. And he's gonna be all the Russian collusion, all that stuff. It all backfired. The crap that came out of Hillary Clinton's face, like, what happened to her, man? That's because they're so miserable inside. Their faces tell the story about them. When you see Bill Clinton walking into a thing like he's a stud, in his head he's a stud. He can barely walk, but he's a stud. And they didn't even know. They thought he was Joe Biden. You know, this is the downfall of how kleptocracies get crushed. In Denver, I sued in 2023, February 6, 2023, case number 23CV54. I spelled it all out. I indexed it to the World Wide Web. Whether they did it or they didn't do it, I already did it, because I knew that they wouldn't do it based off of one emergency hearing that they never sent me any kind of confirmation on. And this is where, like Colorado, they voted for Kamala. The Colorado, so all the people that hate and spewed that shit, and all the yard signs with Kamala, all those identifiers that cell phones picked up. It is what it is, folks. But the Democrats have put themselves back 10 years. I don't think they'll ever recover. Denver is a safe hole, but they're the whole sanctuary series, cities, the deportations. I mean, be prepared for rebellion, folks.